Welcome to this tutorial. I'm going to show you a feature I didn't see in Castle for a long time. It's how to smooth anything in Castle, from movement to size to rotation or even opacity and whatever you kind of need. I learned how to do this recently from looking at the source logic of some other Castle projects, and I've not seen too much documentation stuff around this, so I just want to show you how you can do it. It might get a little confusing, but let's get to it. Okay, first you're going to want to go in your deck, and I'm just going to place a little circle for this test. I'm going to put a circle like this, and the first thing we're going to do is smoothing from a certain coordinate to another coordinate. So first what we're going to do is get the circle, and we're simply just going to move the circle from one point to another point, but with smooth. So let's say we want to get this circle to that X point. What we're going to have to do is cover a certain distance, and I'm going to have to eyeball it for this, but all we're going to do here on the circle to make it move is we don't have to even have a dynamic body or anything, because it's going to be smoothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to say when created, it's going to modify the property, and this is moving to the right side. So the right side is the X, and then the left side is a negative X. And we're not using Y coordinates, so we don't have to do that. I'm going to change to the X position to divide, and we're dividing this because if you take a number and continuously divide it by like a certain number, it's going to go from a big jump at the start to at the end it's going to start dividing way less if you use that number, and that's basically what's creating this whole smoothing movement. So we're going to choose the first numerator, and we're going to touch the denominator here. We're going to go on this, and we're going to say subtract, because this is just going to take the current location of the actual circle, and it's going to use this left operand divided by what's going to be the X position of it on the right operand, and that's going to kind of make this movement. So we're going to use here, and this top value is the value we wanted to go to. So I'm going to make it 4 for now because I don't know the exact distance it needs to go. And the bottom one is going to be the behavior property of the circle's X position. So you're going to minus that, and then you're going to make it 10. You can make it higher or lower than this. If you make it lower than 10, it's going to make the animation faster. If you make it higher, it's going to make the animation slower. So that's basically what's going to do there. We're going to make this relative, and then you're going to press repeat every second. You can make this just repeat a few times if you don't want it to be all the time doing this, but I just leave it like this. It's the easiest way to do it. So now if we go into the game, we can see it moved now. So it moved from that point a little bit too much, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to tapping, just a little bit easier, and going to reduce this number to maybe 3. I think that would be good. So now when you tap the circle, it's going to move somewhat to the X. So I just move it a little bit. Now it moves on top of the X, and let's say we want to tap it so it goes backwards to where it was. That would be really simple to do, because all I have to do is just say when this is tapped, in condition. So basically what we're going to do is now it's going to go from left to right. Once we tap it again, it's going to check if it has a certain tag, then it can go right back. And then once it comes back, it'll have a tag or whatever, and then goes back. So we're going to say if in condition, if it has a tag, we're going to say this tag is left, and I'll make it have left when it spawns in, indicating it's on the left side, moving to the right side. So if this has tag, then it'll move from left to right, else it's going to move backwards when we tap it. So we're just going to repeat that whole process again, but we're going to change that X coordinate to not be 3, but to be -3. So what I'm going to do is with the tags, I'm going to say when it's tapped, it's going to remove tag left because it starts with that, and this is only going to be if it has the tag left, and if this doesn't have the tag left, it's going to add the tag left basically. So now what we've done is, after making this code here, you can go into the thing, tap the circle, goes to the X smoothly with the smoothing, and if you tap it again, it goes back to its position. You can continuously do that. I just want to show you the way you can change the speed. So if you go onto the smoothing thing and you change this denominator down here to, let's say 40, something high like that, and you change for both of them. So now when I tap it, it's going to go way slower and way smoother to the other thing, and it takes longer time to actually fully de-accelerate and things. And once I make it faster, like let's say 3, once I make it 3, it's going to go way more faster back and forward. So now we're done the movement. You can do this for Y as well. It's going to be the exact same. You just want to change the X to the Y coordinates. So now we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to add the width scale. So what I want to do is once it's tapped, it's going to go smaller and then slowly bigger again. Like when you tap, let's say a button, it's going to go smaller and then bigger and bigger to its original size. So to do this, you're going to go here again. I'm not going to add it in these other codes. I'm just going to make a new one. I'm going to just say again, when it's tapped, it's going to modify the property width scale. And this is the width scale. There's two different things when it comes to height. It's going to be width and height. To connect them, we're just going to modify the height scale to be the exact same as the width scale. So before we continue with the width scale, we're going to say modify the height scale to be the behavior property of the width scale. So the changes we make to the width scale is going to be directly copied to the height scale. If you have something that doesn't have the same width and height scale and you want them to be different, then you're going to have to just do this over again, but with the width scale. And then the height scale, you have to do it separately. So let's go on the width scale. We're basically doing the same thing now, but there's a small difference with this one. So we're going to say, instead of divide for this one, we're going to say multiply. And we're going to make the first one subtract again, because this one's going to be the one going in. So you're going to choose the amount you want to go smaller. Since our object is the size of 1, we're going to make it 0.5. So it's when we tap it, it's going to shrink to 0.5, what's half its height, half its width scale. And then we're going to choose the bottom one. This one's going to be the width scale of the object. And then we're going to say this by 0.6. You can do 0.5, whatever. It's going to be the same thing again. Once you get a smaller number, it'll do it slower. Once you get a bigger number, it'll do it fast. This is the opposite of the divide. So if you change the right operand to a smaller number, it's going to get slower, and then a bigger number is going to get faster because it's multiplying. Now for this one, once we tap the circle, it's going to get smaller, but it's not going to grow back. Firstly, we're going to say in a new one, we're going to say when touch begins on this, we're going to add the tag pressed to it. You can name the tag anything you want. I'm just going to say pressed. So once it does that, it's going to add pressed, and when touch ends on this, you're going to remove tag pressed. So now you're going to go back onto this tapped, and you're going to say in condition again, if it has the tag pressed, it's going to make it small like that. And we're going to add an else now, what's basically going to grow it back. So we're just going to say else it's going to modify the width scale and the height scale back to what it was. So in this scenario, it was 1. So we're just going to do the same thing we did in the width scale, but we're going to change that 0.5 to a 1. And don't forget to make them relative. Okay, so this is how it's going to end up looking. You're going to have the two top logics and then the bottom one. Okay, I made a small mistake. You're going to change this to say for this when it's created instead, and you're gonna make it repeat every second. It's gonna do the stuff, and you say when touch ends and begins. So now once we tap it, it's gonna go smaller and then become bigger again. In my case, I'm just gonna make a lot of these slower. So for this, I'm gonna make the number 0.3, and that seems good for me. Okay, so now we got that. So now I'm going to do rotation. For this, I'm going to make a new shape. That's going to be like an arrow. Now I got this interesting arrow. And what I'm going to do is do the same thing, but rotation. But keep on mind, rotation's a bit different because if I place it down here, right now the rotation is 0, as you can see. Once I rotate it, a full rotation goes 90, 180, and negative 90. So that's what you have to play with this. For this rotation, it caps out at 270, then it goes to 90 when it's fully up. So to make this, you're gonna say, I'm gonna do the same thing with the tapping, and I'm gonna make it, when I tap it, it's gonna rotate 90 degrees every single time, adding on, like, it's gonna be relative. So I'm gonna say when tapped, it's gonna modify the rotation, and we're gonna do the same thing here, but for this you can choose multiplication or division. I'm gonna do multiplication because I usually have more luck with that. I find that a little bit more comfortable. So we're gonna choose multiplication, then we're gonna do subtract, and then choose, we want 90 every single time. So we're gonna say 90 minus the behavior property of this rotation, and I'm gonna make this 0.6 again, and it's gonna be relative. So basically when we tap this arrow, it's just gonna move it. So in this case, done doing it, and we say repeat every second, and we say 90 now. We tap it, it goes down. So yeah, this is it for the rotation. When you tap it, it's just gonna move down. So the last one, I'm gonna do this on the arrow as well, is the opacity. So basically I'm just gonna say when this is tapped, it's going to modify the opacity to 0, but with a smoothing, so it makes it look way better. So for this, we just want to make sure we got drawing opacity, and then we're going to go on multiply, subtract. Then for this, we're going to say 0 because we wanted to go to 0, and we're going to make this the opacity we have for the person, and I'm going to make this 0.6 relative and has a repeat on it. So once we tap the arrow, it'll slowly, not very slowly, but it's gonna fade away. I'm gonna make this like 0.1. So now when we tap the arrow fades away with smoothing. So that's it for today's tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. And the update for my game, Kill 'em Zombies, is coming out soon. So bye bye.